Hello, it's me, SparkleDart. You know what my personal opinion is on the most terrifying animal in the world? You want to know what that would be? I'd say probably something like a mongoose or a badger or even a king cobra, which is similar to a mongoose because they like to fight. They're like mortal enemies. They're like squids and octopuses. They're mortal enemies and they fight all the time in nature. And the thing about the mongoose is that he's actually I believe the idea is that the mongoose is actually resistant to the venom of a king cobra. Now, a king cobra is a terrifying animal, and I would never want to get in one's way because they're so mean, and they will bite you, and they will bite everything that you have and hold dear, and they will just... Well, they're not constricting snakes, so they won't wrap themselves around you. But there are constricting snakes, too, and they're real mean. They're real mean, like the king anaconda and the king ball python and the king Burmese python, mostly pythons and anacondas. They're large snakes. The green anaconda is actually the largest snake in the world, believe it or not. But I guess that makes sense because there has to be at least one largest snake. There can't just like not be one largest snake. Obviously, that would never make sense. Just like there has to be one largest bird, one largest pachyderm, one largest Homo neanderthalis, or whatever else there's large versions of, I don't know. But the green anaconda, you know, it's not venomous, and it's not particularly deadly to humans because it's, although it is a snake that constricts, it's not like, it's got a very specific set of targets. And one thing that I was always confused about is why people think that animals in nature are afraid of humans, especially if they didn't, like, evolve convergently. No, that's not the right word. If they didn't evolve in the same area, convergent evolution basically means that there were two branches of life that later developed similar features. Like, I think the squid's eyeball, which is remarkably large, is very similar to a human's eyeball, but the squid and the human were not at all you know, convergent. They had absolutely no common ancestors, considering that a squid is a mollusk and he's an invertebrate too, and he's not part of chordata, which is anything with a backbone, a vertebrae, if you will. And the squid, since he's not... Oh, no, I messed up. No, I didn't. I'm just fine. I'm fine. Don't worry about me, SparkleDart. And since that is the case about convergent evolution, it only makes sense to reason that there are some ideas, some pieces of biology that work out so well that they're just the natural tendency to develop in that specific regard. Now, squids are actually, they range in all sorts of sizes, but the smallest squid-looking animals are actually not squids at all. They're actually something called cuttlefish. If you've ever heard of a cuttlefish, it's not as cuddly as its name would make it seem, if you know what I'm talking about. Cuttlefish are actually, they're tiny squids that, you know, I don't really know how different or similar they are, but they flash colors just like a squid does, or maybe like an octopus does. I don't know, they might both do it. But if they don't both do it, then I guess I'm just wrong, so whatever. You know, it's up to me to keep you informed, but like I said, don't hang on to my words so thoroughly, because I'm often wrong, and I am wrong more than I'm right, I'm sure of it. So just know that if you think I'm an idiot, then I probably am. It's not something I, you know, actively try to be, but it's something that I definitely accomplish with aplomb, if that's the correct terminology. I'm not sure. Flying colors, I guess, would be more accurate to the description of what it is that I'm talking about. So yeah, I was going on about cuttlefish. I was going about dangerous animals, right? So other dangerous animals, obviously you got things like the grizzled bear or the Kodiak bear, but actually most bears are timid around humans. The thing is, bears have been around humans since the days of like, well, it depends what bears we're talking about, because like black bears, brown bears, Kodiak bears, they live in the North America region, and because they haven't been around humans for so incredibly long, they don't really know what to think about humans, especially because humans always took special caution around bears, since they have been known to maul and eat human brains and body parts and all sorts of other stuff so similar to that. So because of that, bears are more curious around humans than they are threatening, I guess. But black bears tend to be deadlier But here's the thing, though. Oh, no. Okay, yeah, black bears are known to have killed more humans, but they're also much more common in North Americas than brown bears are. So, it's like how, maybe for every one out of every... There's like one brown bear. I am just making a mess of this right now. It's like there's one brown bear for every black bear, and if their KD ratio is 1-to-1, then really that means that for every one person that a black bear kills, a brown bear kills. For every 10 persons that a black bear kills, a brown bear kills one person. That's what I was trying to go for. Now, what is the point of this conversation? I'm talking about deadly animals. That's what I'm talking about today. So, if you like things like lions or cougars or other large felines, then you're in luck, because I know a little bit about those things too. Actually, I went to a zoo one time and there was a panther there, and he was waltzing back and forth, and he sprayed his butt juice on the glass. It was disgusting. I don't know what he was trying to accomplish by doing that, but he did it, and it was so gross, and it was like a brownish green color. And I don't know if all felines are capable of doing this, but I know that male house cats are known to spray when they're trying to mark their territory, not unlike dogs are known to urinate all over the house when they're marking their territory. If you got a dog who's urinating on your house, all you gotta do is let him know that you're the master of the house, keeper of the zoo, ready to relieve them of a suit or two, and he'll listen to you if he respects you. If he doesn't respect you, then it's time to get a new dog, because dogs come and go, but a family's all forever. That is my opinion. And a dog is only a family as long as he sees himself as part of being your family. Now, dogs, they actually don't know that they're not humans. If they were raised around other humans, and they assume that they themselves are humans because they're dumb idiots. And there's nothing wrong with being a dumb idiot. There's a lot of dogs like Rin Tin Tin who are smarter than most humans. Now, Rin Tin Tin, I believe he was a German Shepherd or something like that. And German Shepherds are actually very smart dogs, so it only stands to reason that Rin Tin Tin would be a smart dog, but it seems to me as though there were, I guess, certain dogs who were actually smarter than several humans, and I think that that is a shameful display, if you ask me. It doesn't seem like that should be true, but it absolutely is true. So if you're a dumb idiot human, and there's a dog who's smarter than you, then maybe reconsider yourself, your life, your choices, your thoughts, your opinions, ideas, and get a dog, get a smart dog, and then you are just as smart as that dog, because he knows everything that you don't know, and then you can take that knowledge from him from like a USB drive or something. Holy shit. It's a good thing I got all those extra guys, if you know what I'm saying, because I'm just fucking up real bad right now. Shit, okay. This is where I start trying. I wasn't trying before, this is where I start trying. And I like the... I find it corny to be talking about the game when you're playing it, because at that point you can just, just watch me play the fucking game. If I have to talk about the game when I'm playing it, then that means that I'm not putting on a very good show, and that's just my opinion. I know a lot of the YouTube types like to be like, hey, well, I'm your friend, and I'm going to pretend to be your friend, and... Well, that was just horseshit right there. That wasn't my fault. That was... just a crock of shit, if you ask me. So I'm going to chalk that one up to the chakra, the fate, the karmas that permeate the universe. See, I remember that word permeate because I had to think of it last time. They permeate the universe and create an uninhabitable world for all of us. So just keep in mind that there are forces at work in this world that can neither be seen nor heard, but can be felt in the presence. And I'm not talking about like a divine creator or some sort of noble spirit or something like that. I'm just saying that like there's cosmic energies that flow throughout the universe. If you're familiar with the theory of entropy, energy is something that is very real, and it tries to distribute itself as uniformly throughout the world as it can, the world and the universe, and when it attempts to do so, it creates a very... Okay, well, that's fine. A very real sensation that you can feel within your bones and your body. And all sorts of toes that you might have if you have toes. Some people are born without toes. Some people are born without brains. Can you believe that? There's something called the... I don't think it's hydrocephalus syndrome, but it's something like that. And if you can look that up on the Google, you can look up children without brains and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Sometimes the brain's positioned outside of the head. Sometimes the brains just never develop at all and they only have a brain stem to keep them functioning. And because of that, I don't really know if you can consider them to be alive. I think it's actually kind of inhumane to keep things like that alive, especially if they're not aware of anything, if they have no actual cognitive abilities. If they don't have any cognitive abilities, then what's the point of keeping something like that alive? It's like raising a sponge or an enemy to be your child. You just don't do that, you know? It's just weird. And I get that if you carry around something in your belly for 9 months, you want to give it the best life that you possibly can, but there's a difference between quality of life and not having a life, you know what I mean? Like, they say the soul is, they say that the soul is something that every person has, and I feel like if there was a soul, which, you know, that's neither here nor there. If you believe in the soul, that's up to you. I'm not going to get into any sort of philosophical debate here, but I feel like if a person had a soul, it would either be in their brain or in their lymph nodes. Now, if the soul is in the lymph nodes, then I guess I'm wrong, so apologies all around. I don't want to seem like I'm so insincere about what it is that I believe. Like if there's somebody out there who has these invalid children that can't think or see or hear or do anything because they don't have the cranial capacity to do so, then just, you know, let it be known that that is what SparkleDart believes. Not that like I said, if you take your beliefs and values from my show, then you're doing it wrong. You have to form these things on your own. And I know a lot of people, they go to school and they read philosophy books and all sorts of crazy things like that. They read about Emmanuel Lewis, which is not a name that I think actually exists. I think I might have just made that up entirely. But if not, look up utilitarianism. Immanuel Kant is the name I'm thinking of. That's Immanuel Kant. And look up Kantian ethics and then tell me what you think about it. So, with that being said, I'm SparkleDart. I'm going to leave. Goodbye. Mwah.